I wanted to ask you about the British monarchy because I have a bit of a theory that I want to share with you, and I want you to respond to it. And the theory is, and may King Charles live to 120.
May he do.
Yes, but to use an expression from the late Queen Elizabeth, in the fullness of time, Prince William will become king.
Mm-hmm.
And should that happen, say, for example, in another 30 years or so, which is very likely because the late Queen Mother lived to 101, so it's in the genes. And of course, the Queen lived to a ripe old age in her 90s. So let's say in about 30 years, Prince William will become king. That will take us to the age, he'll be 68 at the time. I did the math of that. Say, for example, he lives for about another 30 years after that, and then we have George ascending to the throne.
Right.
My thinking is, and by that time it'd be 2081, okay, according to my estimation. My thinking is, Melanie, and this is what I want you to weigh in on, is that by that time, Britain will look so different that the population will say, we have a head of state that is a white male, that is not only head of state, but head of a church, head of a religion to which a vast majority of us don't belong to. Therefore, we should rethink the monarchy, and therefore we should have a referendum. A referendum will take place, and they're going to chuck out the monarchy by the time George is king or thereafter. And Melanie Phillips says...
I would
First of all, has Melanie Phillips ever thought about that?
I have not thought about 2080 something or other. I think that's all going to happen much faster.
Really?
I think it's already happening. There's still a tremendous affection for the monarchy and the royal family, but the monarchy in Britain is a complicated and subtle institution. It's above politics and it's above public approval. It is not elected, but it does depend on public consent, and it's always been aware of this. Well, it hasn't always been aware of it, but certainly in recent decades, the monarch has been very much aware of this. If it loses public esteem, then it's finished. That it does depend upon public esteem. You know, the monarchy embodies the nation, and that's its great value. It rides completely above politics. It's an inherited establishment, and consequently, it's not touched by considerations of popularity from that point of view. But it embodies what the nation is, and it kind of reflects back to the nation what it is. So it flourishes when the nation looks at the monarch and sees in the monarch an image which pleases the nation. It's a kind of reflection of the good things in the nation. So, for example, Queen Victoria was identified as somebody who upheld the family, and the family was very strong. Traditional family is very strong in Victorian England, and they looked at Victoria and they saw, you know, the matriarch holding everything together. And scroll on, went up and down in terms of public esteem for various reasons, but scroll on to Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and the esteem in which she was held could not be surpassed because she completely effaced herself and became a symbol of duty. Everybody understood that that's what she was about, duty to her people, trust and faith in her people, and it was repaid. And so people looked at her and they saw the principle of duty, and that pleased them because duty is a good thing. It means that you're looking after others. It means you're putting others in front of yourself. And that's what she did. And she literally effaced herself. Nobody even knew what she thought about anything. So that pleased people, even if they didn't live like that. It was an image of the nation based on duty. That was very pleasing. She died. And I have to say, I mean, this may sound fanciful, and I have a great deal of time for the king. He has many very, very admirable qualities. But I did think, when the Queen died, I thought, there goes England. It's not going to be the same, and it's now going to struggle. And as the society struggles, so the monarchy struggles, because the monarchy reflects the society. So you have the king and his son, who are troubled people. They have, I mean, the king has, has experienced vicissitudes But, people could see when in the long years that he was the Prince of Wales, people could see that, he's a complicated character, and they could see his frailties as well as his strengths. And, people don't like seeing the reflection of the country as frail. And then William is much more frail. Much more frail. The king has great strength. The king has a very, very strong sense of duty, which he's inherited from his mother. He understands absolutely that the monarchy is about duty and it's about embodying the nation, and he understands it's about representing the church as the core institution. Even though most people no longer go to church, Britain is very different from America. It's a post-religious society in terms of Christianity, but it remains the case that the Church of England, which is the institutional church, is embedded in and embodied by national identity still. And the monarch upholds that, and King Charles understands that completely. William, I don't think, has any patience for that whatsoever. I think he is impatient about it all. He's impatient about a lot of things, and he wishes to change the monarchy to be more modern, more relevant. This is fatal. Fatal. It means he doesn't understand the whole point of the monarchy. It embodies, it reflects, it's a subtle, responsive institution. It's nothing to do with him personally. But you get the impression with Prince William, it's everything to do with him personally. And it will be recreated in the image he wants. So that's a problem. And then you have, the whole business of what's going on in British society. British society is changing because the British establishment, the cultural establishment, the political and cultural and religious establishment no longer wishes to uphold ancient British historic identity because they've embraced multiculturalism. There is a very large, increasingly powerful Muslim community, minority, but a Muslim community whose leaders insist that instead of the community adapting to the majority culture, the majority culture has to adapt to Islam. No minority says that. No other minority says that. And there's no pushback because they're pushing at an open door, because the British cultural establishment believes that it's wrong, morally wrong, to uphold Western historic culture above any other culture. It's racist to do so. Now, that may change. That may change. There is a tremendous head of steam against this among ordinary people. There are millions of people who understand viscerally that their national identity, their sense of home, of a place that they share with a common cause with others that they can recognize in a common cause, that's being taken away from them. And they are beyond enraged by this. And I don't know how this is going to pan out. It's work in progress. It's a struggle in progress. But it's a troubled culture. And if you have a troubled culture, you have a troubled monarchy. Now, the Queen presided over this culture that was getting increasingly troubled, but she held on to what it always was, and she embodied what it always was. And while she was alive, that's what it was. Despite all these things that were going on, everybody knew while she was alive, she would hold the line in this subtle way. She's no longer with us. And so I have great fears. So when you say 2080, Prince George, I think this crisis is going to be coming possibly during the lifetime of King Charles, and certainly during the lifetime of Prince William.
Right. So William may ascend to the throne, but again, the cracks of society will grow ever greater.
Yes.
Is what you're saying, I
yes.
think.